Alright guys, so I want to go through a bunch of new updates coming to Modern Warfare multiplayer very soon, but I mainly want to talk about skill-based matchmaking within the game. It's definitely a controversial topic right now in the Modern Warfare sort of community, and a lot of people have strong opinions on it, and I want to go through both sides of the issue and try to justify and figure out what's the reasoning to have it within the game and what's the reasoning to remove it from the game. Before we go through that, let's look at the next update coming to Modern Warfare. So next Modern Warfare patch update coming this week, what to expect. Ashton Williams tweeted out this week, currently being tested, responding to someone talking about it. And here are the main points of this update. Kill feed changes that will remove some of the notifications like someone avenged you to allow for collaterals and other kill chains to show up clean in the feed. Many bug fixes and updates to challenges and officer rank progression challenges. There's a lot of challenges that are not tracking properly still. This upcoming update is expected to resolve many of these. Potential updates to the tanks in Ground War. Infinity War dev confirmed that they were working on nerfing them, but it wasn't mentioned as to when to expect it. Other weapon tuning updates possible, more changes to the 725 amongst other updates. So a bunch of interesting stuff here. I think definitely right now we're on the tank issue. A bunch of people are saying the tanks are insanely overpowered, so that's definitely going to be nerfed next update, and I'm surprised they're still doing stuff to the 725. Someone responded to this. The number of people I encounter using the 725 has dropped dramatically, so I haven't been seeing too many 725s. It's still prevalent within the game. I don't think it's completely disappeared, but I think we're finally past sort of the peak of the 725, and a lot less people are using it, and the hype is sort of over with that weapon, so I don't really think they need to even continue to nerf it. Maybe it's just fine as it is. Let me know if you guys have still been experiencing insanely wrong deaths from the 725. I mean, if it's a shotgun and you're dying to a shotgun and you're close range, that makes sense, but if you're being sniped by this weapon still, maybe it does need to be nerfed a bit more. And that's it with the updates right now. Let's get into skill-based matchmaking, a huge part of this game, probably now for most people the #1 main issue they're having, and it seems like the past week or so it's been really prevalent within the game. I've been getting into so many games where it's all level 155s, and I know how Call of Duty works. Sometimes you get into a game with a bunch of tryhards, and sometimes you find a bunch of noobs, but there's no balance like that within this game. It seems like you're only getting into a game with tryhards, depending obviously on your KD. If you have a really high KD, then you're only finding level 155s. If you're a really low level and also a low KD, and you have all these other factors that play into it probably, and you're pretty much a noob, you're a casual player, you're gonna get matched up with casual players only. That's just how it works. So let's go through a bunch of the different issues here that people are pointing out. Here's one which I understand, but I'm gonna actually dispute this image here. This is from Reddit. So we have quick play, which would theoretically have no skill-based matchmaking, casual fun, and then quick play, a ranked version, which has skill-based matchmaking, and you try your hardest. So here is the issue with that. The problem with skill-based matchmaking is not that the pro players want to play with pro players. It's that people that are better at the game want to be able to sometimes play with people that are worse, and want to be able to sometimes just destroy a bunch of noobs. People that are really good at normal quick play multiplayer are only being matched up with other people that are really good at normal quick play multiplayer. So a ranked version of this game would not separate these people. It would just make everyone go into the normal quick play with no skill-based matchmaking, and then only a few of the pros, like the COD competitive people, they'll go into ranked play because they really want to play with the pro players only. But everyone else, like me, I have a higher KD, but I'm not going to go into the ranked playlist. I'm going to go into the casual fun. That's just going to be a normal, sort of game that we have, and that's not the point of skill-based matchmaking. Skill-based matchmaking is supposed to go through the quick play and make it so these casual players are not being destroyed by people like me and people like you, people that play the game really often, have been playing it for years now, and are pretty good at the game. They don't want to be destroyed by us, so skill-based matchmaking makes it so they only match up with people of their kind, and the casual players will want to play this game over and over again. They'll never be discouraged because they're not being matched up with really good players with high KDs. They're always being matched up with noobs, and they'll have a fun time. And that's the point of skill-based matchmaking there. So that's why it should be in the game, or at least that's their reasoning for it to be in the game. And it does make sense. They want the casual players to continue to come back to the game. Let's go through a bunch of different points here. Here's the first one. Regardless if you like it or hate it, people complained about skill-based matchmaking in previous CODs, and it was never fixed. Why would they do it now? That is very true. We've been talking about this forever. I mean, people are saying it hasn't been this bad since Advanced Warfare, and if we were having a big deal about it within Advanced Warfare and nothing ever changed, then obviously nothing's going to change now. Maybe it's been a lot less within the past couple of Call of Duties, and we haven't really needed to complain because it hasn't been as brutal as it is now. And so many people are complaining that maybe Infinity Ward is just looking like, okay, really everyone is noticing it, everyone's complaining, let's fine tune it, let's change it a little bit. But other than that, realistically, there's no reason for us to believe that they're actually going to do anything to skill-based matchmaking at this point in time. Someone also says, someone at IW needs an ego check. Someone made the decision to implement a hidden skill-based matchmaking mechanic. The community noticed it and overwhelmingly hates it. That's true as well. They're not, saying that it's within the game. They're completely ignoring it. Most of the other problems within this game, they've at least said, oh, we're looking at this, we're looking at that. They've had justification for why there's no minimap, let's say, and other stuff like that, why they added this feature, why they removed this feature. But with skill-based matchmaking, they're completely just not even mentioning it. They even talked about microtransactions. They even mentioned that. They even talked about that. But this, completely ignoring it, which is so weird and does suck. At least if they admitted it, I'd have a bit more respect for them, but them not saying anything about it is definitely really weird and not cool. Now, this is a person responding to the last person that said, most of the people overwhelmingly hate skill-based matchmaking. He says, that's the thing though, it's only the top 25% of players who don't like it. Everyone who picked this up after not playing COD for years, never playing at all, is likely having a blast because they can actually compete. And that's very true as well, because most of the players that play Call of Duty, I don't know what percentage of it. In this case, he's saying 25% of the people are the hardcore fans that play every year, and 75% of the people are casual fans that just randomly play, aren't that good at the game. Let's just assume those numbers. That's very true in any respect. Within the YouTube respect, most of the people that play Call of Duty don't know about Call of Duty YouTubers. Most of the people that play this game don't know about esports. They don't know about any of that stuff. They're in their own worlds. They don't really care about this. They probably don't even know what skill-based matchmaking is. All they know is that they go into a multiplayer game, they want to be able to get a couple of kills, and they're not going to be able to do that if they're playing with tryhards. So the fact that they're only playing with noobs, they're probably having such a fun time on this game. And if you're Infinity Ward, why would you want to ruin that for 75%, let's say, of your fan base, when 25% will continue to buy the game, even though they're complaining, they're the hardcore fans, they're going to buy the game and play the game anyway, so there's no point in catering to them. Let's cater to the people that aren't as connected to Modern Warfare, aren't as connected to Call of Duty, and they could easily go play another game. So the best way to keep them playing is to make it so they're always playing with people of their own kind. That's just the way it is. So here's something else. Here's a bunch of stuff that they could do to skill-based matchmaking, and here is why it shouldn't be within the game. This guy goes through a bunch of different reasons here. Instead of having skill-based matchmaking, they could focus on having a better average ping. It would have shorter average queue times, the ability to play with friends without your lower skill friends being stomped every game. There are many people whose friends no longer want to play with them or don't want to play with their friends for this reason. So if I'm at higher KD and I'm going into try-hard games and my friend isn't as good, he's going to get destroyed because he's getting matched up with my high KD lobbies, which is again not fair. If it was randomized, some games would be good, some games would be bad, and it would even out. That's just not the case now. Another one, being able to use non-meta weapons and still have a realistic opportunity to do good. In this game, I have to use the M4, I have to use the MP5, and that's it, because everyone is using the best weapons in my lobby. I can't go around try different weapons that aren't as good because I'm going to get destroyed. I don't have that luxury of trying different stuff out without playing so poorly or just getting completely destroyed within the game. Actually feeling like you're getting better and progressing in skill. There is no visual rank, so there is literally no way to tell if you're getting better at the game, because if you do just that against better players, you're never going to see the change. Reverse boosting is absolutely possible, so a very good player can intentionally make their lobbies easier if they wanted to, and then pub stomp everyone after that. The average player is just that, average. Random lobbies based on ping would predominantly be full of average skilled players on the normal distribution curve. Look back at old COD games like MW2. There were plenty of times where you get in super competitive lobbies where a team would make a comeback or win by one, etc. And then it's the same thing vice versa. You get in a ton of lobbies as well that are just not good at the game, and then overall in the end it would even out, and most of the games you would play would average out in the end. And why can't they just do that? That's just such a perfect model. It makes sense. It's worked in so many other Call of Duties, but they decide to change it now. And the last one, if players want to just pub stomp and never die, They could just play custom games versus bots if they wanted to. So here's the deal with skill-based matchmaking. Like I said again, I went through the reasoning, why it's in the game, what's the justification for it, and why Infinity Ward really has no true reason to remove it from the game, and why it's such a huge incentive for them to actually keep it within the game, because it helps casual players continue to want to play the game, and that's sort of their hardest audience because they're not emotionally and physically attached to Call of Duty like we are. We're gonna buy this game no matter what. We're gonna play this game. We invest the most time and money into this game, and I guess they think, oh, we have these guys on lock. They're not gonna go play another game. They're Call of Duty fans, so let's get the people that aren't actually Call of Duty fans and make sure they're constantly playing, because we can lose them easier. So we have to make sure we can keep them as long as we can, and that's the reasoning. So will it ever be changed? I really don't know. As of now, I don't think so. Maybe they'll tune it and make it so it's not as heavy and aggressive within this game. Maybe they will just completely change it. They'll come out and say, you know what, we're wrong. Let's go back to the normal Call of Duty cycle, how it was before. Who knows what they're going to do? All I know is right now, it's just not as fun with such a heavy reliance on skill-based matchmaking within the game. So thank you guys for watching. If you guys did enjoy, leave a comment below, SBMM, if you watched the whole video. It's greatly appreciated. See you guys later.